This young dude caught a 13 hat with his gang and even smoked his own cousin, only to get backdoored by his other cousin.
He said, this is like a war zone.
Chicago was stacked with shooters, but Douwey4 from FaceWorld079 was on a different level of cold. By December 2025, the feds unwrapped a 26-page case exposing a crew behind 13 murders, 13 hats, mass shootings, and GTA-style heists. The main one behind that body count was Douwey, the top hitter accused of smoking ops, innocence, and even backdoored his own blood. He wasn't just a drill rapper chasing views. He was a certified stepper who put the belt on WugaWorld by himself. Cemented in the Rack's royalty, he moved through the trenches as the cousin of both LilDurk and Lil Mister. But the real nightmare starts with his third cousin, a drill rapper known in the trenches as the king of the backdoor. He was one of the deadliest hitters to ever walk the South Side. And when their paths cross at the end of this story, witness the real crash out. Before we start, shout out to the real ones. Keep rocking with me, gang, and put the beam on that like button. You're locked in with Hood Edition, and today we dive deep into the story of Douwey4.
You know, NuskiGang, Douwey4.
Biddy and KK.
Yeah, I'm 20.
I'm swinging.
Bitch, I'm a savage, gon' shoot where your granny sleep. I kill an innocent bro, I'ma bury me. Wait till he come outside, shoot him right off his feet.
Before he was Douwey4, it's just Naquan Harper. Born August 25th, 2000, deep in the belly of the South Side. Douwey didn't have to jump off the porch or go looking for the streets. The streets were already inside the crib. He had two big blood brothers, Chubbs and Tay-Tay, two outstanding members from the Nine who did more than just give him a name. They showed their little brother the ropes and stamped his ticket before he even stepped foot in high school. The real war didn't start on the block. It started at Oliver S. Westcott Elementary. Deep in FaceWorld territory, that school was the training ground. If you weren't rocking with the circle at Westcott, you were a target. This is where blood was signed and lines were drawn in the dirt. Douwey linked with day ones like Cello 2X, turning playground friendships into a roster of hitters. Classmates became rivals overnight, and schoolyard beef turned into forever smoke. Douwey wasn't a bad student, but the noise from the trenches was louder than any teacher in the classroom. While other kids were chasing sports dreams, Douwey and the Boyztown crew were leveling up, moving from stealing bikes to handling the tools of the street. By the age of 13, Douwey officially jumped off the porch. Under the wing of his brothers and the older 079 heads, he traded the classroom for the corners. It didn't take long for the petty crimes to turn into moving packs, straps, and getting his stripes as a certified member. His big brother Chubbs was already deep in the trenches. He ended up booked for a hat that cost him his life on the jail. Chubbs' real name, Deontay Harper, on May 13th, 2020, shifted the temperature at a gas station on the 8600 block of South Halstead. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a business trip. Paul Harris, better known as Savage from the gang STB, Stone Terrace, was sitting in his whip. A dark SUV rolled up and stopped the clock. Chubbs and another 079 member, Monty, hopped out and let it fly while Savage was trapped in his seat. This wasn't a random hit. In a federal plea, Chubbs admitted the work was a move to boost his rank and solidify his status in FaceWorld. The streets might talk, but the feds keep the paperwork. In 2023, the FBI kicked the door and picked up Chubbs for a murder in aid of racketeering and threatening witnesses from behind the wall. For acting as the engine of violence for the 079, a judge handed Chubbs a 34-year sentence to federal prison. To understand Douwey's mindset, you have to understand the soil he grew up in. We're talking about the history of FaceWorld079. The thing you should know is there are two FaceWorlds, 069 and 079. Today, they're in a cold war, but it wasn't always like that. Before 2010, 069 BogusBogus and 079 Boyztown were locked in. They were BD-dominated allies, both rocking under the tray and sharing territory. But one hit changed the temperature forever. The name FaceWorld isn't just a brand. It's stamped in honor of Cornell Henderson, aka Lil Face. October 17th, 2010, 15-year-old Lil Face was on the sidewalk in the 2500 block of Lithuanian Plaza Court. Two shooters ran up and closed the blinds on a kid the neighborhood called a rising star. Shell casings from two different pipes were found. The feds and the family say he had no record, but the streets saw a top-tier score. The hit was allegedly carried out by Boko, a Marquette Park set that started as a block club before turning into a high-level factor in the war against WugaWorld After Lil Face dropped, the unity cracked. A war of words started over who the real FaceWorld was. 069 started calling 079 Fake World, claiming 079 only showed up to their hood for birthday parties. 079 stood their ground, claiming the South Side was where Lil Face really grew up and built his name. The lane split years ago. They aren't at war, but they don't rock with each other no more. 079 now moves as NuskiGang or True Block. 069 runs deep under the Bando Boys umbrella with cliques like D-Gang and M-Block. 79th to 83rd, then sends to Wentworth. That's the box. On the map, they call it FaceWorld079, but the trenches know it as True Block. The energy around here changed forever in 2014 when Tremaine Scott, aka True, everyone's brother, got smoked. True was a different breed. He had that rare kind of respect where he could stand on 069 or 079 and nobody would blink. He was the glue. It all went south on 82nd and Princeton. True wasn't out here looking for a body. He was looking for a fair shake. He stepped up for a one-on-one against a member from DOD. True stood on business and handled his hands, but the ops couldn't live with the L. They traded the fair shake for a pipe. One shot to the chest and a legend was stamped into the concrete right where he stood. True was blood to the city's heavy hitters, locked in tight with OTF Nuski. And y'all know the tree. Nuski was cousin to both Durk and Douwey4. After the smoke cleared, the disrespect hit a level we'd never seen. DOD went to the internet to mock the dead, torching True Religion jeans just to stain his name. But 079 didn't fold. They took that hurt and rebranded the whole movement. Now from 80th to Stewart, the bricks themselves carry his name, True Block. But you can't talk about True without talking about the war with DOD, Dre Gang. That's a blood feud rooted at 68th and Michigan that's been burning since 2013. Drago, aka Dre, was the spark. Before he was a name on a shirt, he was a bucket boy, catching a rhythm for the crowds down at the L stations.
My name Dre.
My name D-Fly.
My name Dondre.
My name Brent.
We the bucket boys, man. That's our instruments right here. Bucket and some sticks.
Yeah, man.
We started up.
A week before Christmas, the clock just stopped. Walking home from Chatham Academy, Dre got cornered. A pipe was leveled at his heart. In that cold Chicago ice, a friend slipped. An order was barked, and Dre caught 6 as he fell. On his honor, DOD became Dre Gang that night. FaceWorld079 claimed that work, but it cost him. Iman from 079 got scooped by the 12 in 2017 and booked for that body. He was handed a 47-year ticket. But the score never really settles. It just moves into the music. Douwey put the final stamp on it on Exposing Me. We the ones put Dre on TV.
When they see me, we the ones put Dre on TV. We gon' shoot the whole store when it's wartime. Folks shooting like Curry when it's clutch time.
Now we talk about 079 main ops, Wugga World. It wasn't always blood between 079 and Wugga World. Back in the day, around 2010, the youngins were actually brothers. They rocked with each other, walking the same halls at Paul Robeson and EHS. The map was messy back then. You even had Lil Mister from Wugga World posted up in the circle with O79 like it was nothing. They shared the same air, even while O69 BogusBogus was already at war with the Wugga. Everything went left on Christmas Eve, 2012. J Loud from CMB was taken off the board, and word is O69 was the ones who stood on that work. When the dust settled, O79 had to pick a side. They chose their brothers at O69, and that choice sparked a fire that's still burning in 2026. J Loud was tight with Brick Squad and Wugga World, so once O79 moved with the O69, the sneak dissing turned into a full-scale war. It gets deeper than that though. Word on the street is J Loud was kicking it with Boko members when he fell. For FaceWorld, that's the ultimate stain. Boko are the ones who took Little Face, the same loss that birthed the FaceWorld name in blood. That's a hate that don't ever fade. The temperature in the city changed for good in the spring of 2014. Juju from O79, close homie to Douwey, he was only 18, standing on the 7,900 block of Vincennes, catching a vibe with his circle. Nobody saw the transition coming. Two shooters walked up and just let it lead. No words, no warning. Juju was left right there on the pavement. It was one of those moments that stops the clock. A legend gone before he even got a chance to really spark. The streets didn't have to guess who did it. Marco from O79 took to Twitter, calling out Wugga World for taking his little homie. Then Bill from the 9 put the final stamp on Facebook. Whole war was a game changer when they hit Juju on the 9. Since that day on the 9, Douwey4 and the hitters haven't stopped torching Wugga World. The faces change, the names change, but that score stays active. Just weeks after Juju fell, the war hit the front door. We ain't talking about a soldier, we talking about the face of the movement. OTF Nuski from FaceWorld079 and OTF. He was blood to Douwey, blood to Durk. May 31st, 2014. A bright Saturday at the mall on 87th and Cottage. Nuski just finished catching a vibe at the villa, walking back to his whip with the sun out and his head high. He didn't even get to turn the air on before the shadows closed in. Two shooters emerged from the crowd and just let it lead. Nuski, fueled by pure instinct, tried to floor it, tried to outrun fate, but the metal was already deep. He lost control, bouncing off two cars before his journey ended through the front window of a children's store. This wasn't his war, but it was his blood. 051. Young Money reached out to touch a legacy, catching a body for a beef inherited from Durk and Lamron. 079 and 051 weren't even on the same map, but that day, the distance didn't mean a thing. For Douwey, this wasn't a name on a shirt or a post on the gram. This was family. This was Nuski. By 2015, the trauma was collecting interest on a debt no one could pay. At only 15, Douwey blew the porch down. He was officially clocked in. When Lil Ant from the 9 got smoked, he stripped the last bit of Douwey's childhood. Word is the Wugga World allegedly stood on that work, but the trenches don't just take your brothers, they eat your soul. Spring of 2017, the war came back for seconds. This time, it touched Cello 2X. This wasn't just a member, this was a frontline soldier. A main face from FaceWorld079. He's day ones from the halls of Westcott School, chasing dreams before they were dodging nightmares. But Cello didn't fall in a shootout or a high speed. He got hit with the ultimate stain, the back door. He got set up by his girlfriend. The same girl who held him at night is the one who handed him to the Reaper. For Douwey, that one hit changes him forever. He started posting on Facebook with Heartbroken. The city watched him grieve in real time, but they didn't see the monster being born. By the time Douwey hit 17, he wasn't just a face in the crowd, he was a problem. The grief from Nuski and Juju and Cello had finally boiled over. December 23rd, 2018, the night before Christmas Eve. While the rest of the city was looking for peace, Douwey was looking for a target. He caught Bang from WugaWorld lacking. He didn't just let it lead. He made sure that bullet stuck in Bang's head. Bang survived the initial metal, but he was a ghost in a hospital bed, hooked up to machines for 2 long years. He finally checked out on the exact same date in 2020. But don't get it twisted, Bang wasn't the start. By the time the clock struck midnight on 2020, Douwey was already walking with 5X on his name. 5 bodies dropped. The O79 started talking loud. Kivo hopped on the Exposing Me remix with Douwey, letting the whole world know how they were playing. Lil Bang got shot 3 months ago and he still needs surgery. Back shot, face shot, head shot, caught him where he wasn't supposed to be.
Lil Bang got shot 3 months ago and he still needs surgery. Back shot, face shot, head shot, caught him where he was supposed to be. I know if
Douwey was on a mission to make Wugga World bleed for all his dead homies, and 3 months later, the price of the war went up. This time, the Reaper came for a pioneer, Lil Mister from Wugga World. Lil Mister was a drill legend, the man who taught the whole world no lacking. But on March 15th, 2019, on the 7400 block of Harvard, the legend ran out of time. He was standing in his own paint, right in the heart of the Wugga, when a dark whip pulled up. Inside that car, his cousin. They say Tay-Tay, Douwey's big brother, was the one who stood on that work, but Douwey was the one behind the wheel, steering the fate of his own family. You heard it right. Both of them were Durk's cousin. Mister used to kick it with the 9 back in the day.
The thing I was saying, you want to be like my cousin. You know what I'm saying? You want to be like Durk and all this shit. If I call blood. If I hit him up.
Whoa.
I hit him, huh?
You said Durk your cousin?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
We cousins.
shit's real.
Whoa, hold on, bro.
We coming back.
Lil Mister caught it in the head and torso, checking out at the UFC. The city wasn't shot, but the O79 was just getting started. Moni and Spooky were in that mix too, making sure the job was sealed. This is the cousin war that keep the legends awake at night. Even Smirk felt the weight of it. When Durk hopped on that 300 Euros track, he wasn't just rapping. He was looking at his own family tree when he said, "See, that cousin shit be scaring me. That shit gon' bury me."
See, that cousin shit be scaring me. That shit gon' bury me. They be fuck.
By April 2019, Douwey wasn't just in the mix. He was the main shooter for the O79. He was so active in trying to catch any op lacking. Only a month after the Lil Mister situation, he pulled a drift on 4 block. April 17th, on the 7500 block of Lafayette, Douwey rolled up in a white sedan and let it fly on 3 people at once. Boss Dutta, a 17-year-old factor from YGE/4 block, caught a heater to the head. They tried to drive out the kill zone, but the damage was done. Dutta checked out at the UFC 2 hours later. The other 2 survived, but Douwey left his signature on that block. By July 2019, the O79 was moving with 0 friction. They were sliding on anything that breathed in Wugga World territory. But on July 26, the mission went left, and the cost was something the streets couldn't pay back. Douwey and other members from the 9 were tucked in a blue SUV, with Tyrone holding the steering. They were patrolling the 75th and Stewart, looking for a target, looking for a sign. They saw a crowd and thought they saw the opposition. They didn't verify, they just let the switches speak. But there weren't any soldiers in that crowd. They ended up taking the lives of Chantel Grant and Andrea Stoudemire. These weren't just names, they were mothers. They were the heart of Mask, mothers against senseless killings. These were the same women who stood on the corners trying to keep the kids safe from the very lead that ended up taking them out. 2 mothers of 4, gone in a heartbeat at the corner of 75th and Stewart. They were advocates for peace, caught in the middle of a war they didn't sign up for. The feds didn't take this lightly. The indictment named Keyshawn Wordlow and Douwey as the ones who let it lead. This wasn't just a hat on the scorecard, this was a stain on the legacy. It's one thing to score on an op, but when you take out the mothers of the block, the energy changes. Even in the trenches, there's supposed to be a code. But that day, the code was buried along with 2 innocent souls. But folks were still hungry. August 3rd, 2019. Broad daylight in the heart of Englewood. This hit was personal because it touched a bridge builder, D. Rose from WugaWorld. Rose wasn't just a face, he was the glue between the Wugga and Dipset071. He was TY's nephew, a man with a quiet reserve and a daughter at home. D. Rose was doing what most people in the trenches don't. He was going to work. He was headed to the Park District when that silver sedan crept up on Stewart. Douwey hopped out, stood over him, and put it in his head and chest. While the family was at the church burying Rose in a white casket with his favorite red hat, the 12 was outside deep with squad cars. They called it protection. The streets called it a late arrival. By the end of that summer, Douwey was moving like a ghost. He was barely 18, walking with allegedly 5X on his name and the weight of 2 hoods on his back.
Money, yellow, peso, anybody that hang with FaceWorld, anybody that hang with MCB, kind of gang I don't know y'all, anybody who won't smoke, we free smoking.
July 2020. The heat in the city was already rising, but on the 8,000 block of Stewart, it turned into an inferno. Wugga World scored a heavy hit. They took out Lil Monty from 079. Monty wasn't just another name. He was Douwey's brother-in-arms. They grew up together, walked the halls of Westcott together, and traded bars on 1911. When Monty caught those shots to the back and head, the 079 didn't just mourn, they erased the clock. They didn't even wait 24 hours. The very next day, the GetBack arrived on 74th and Stewart. Donnie from WugaWorld was standing on his own main block, feeling safe, when that dark whip pulled up. Flup and Douwey were in that car, and they didn't leave until the job was finished. Donnie caught it in the head and the torso, checking out at the UFC. In his track, No Cap, Douwey let the world know the scoreboard. And for money, we got back, but we won't speak about that.
Pick 'em up, and for money, we got back, but we won't speak about that, 'cause these facts.
But that was just the intro. Douwey and the 079 wanted WugaWorld to feel the weight of their grief. A week later, Donnie's funeral was being held at Rhodes on 79th Street. Douwey and his crew pulled up in a Chevy Malibu and emptied the clip on the whole sidewalk. It was a war zone. 15 people hit, lead flying everywhere. Even the 12, who were parked right there for protection, caught it on camera tucking tail and moving out the way when the shots started ringing. Douwey and his big brother Tay-Tay eventually crashed the whip, but they vanished like ghosts before the cuffs could click. Even Tay-Tay admitting on Instagram that he and Douwey shot up Donnie's funeral. "You running at that funeral, you fell on your face on my son, stop tweaking." That funeral hit was so loud the FBI had to step in. It turned a neighborhood war into a federal case. That's when the RICO talk started, and the feds began monitoring every move the 079 made.
The indictment further states that on July 21st, 2020, Harper and several co-conspirators allegedly opened gunfire at the funeral of Donald Weathersby, resulting in multiple people being injured. The indictment goes on to allege that gang leaders believe Weathersby was a member of a rival gang and targeted him in retaliation.
Early 2021. The city was frozen, but the heat between the 079 and the Wugga was still red hot. Douwey was already up 4, maybe 5 hats on WugaWorld, but he was still out here hunting for the max out. February 16th, Blaze from WugaWorld/Pimp Gang was posted up with a homie in a parked whip right outside the KFC in his own hood. They thought they were tucked, but the Reaper was on foot. A shadow crept up on the passenger side and emptied the clip. Blaze, real name Dantrell Johnson, caught a heater to the head and checked out right there in the seat. No hospital trip, no second chances. His homie caught one to the hand and managed to walk away, but Blaze was done. The shooters vanished into the Chicago wind. Now the streets got a split decision on this one. Some say Tay City put that work in, but the feds, they got a different story. In that federal indictment, they got Douwey pinned as the wheelman for the mission. Whether he pulled the trigger or held the steering, one thing was clear. Douwey's name was written in blood all over WugaWorld's territory. 2021 was supposed to be the breakout. Douwey was ascending. We on Nat was blowing the speakers out, and No Cap Part 2 proved he had the vision to go global. He was a talent the city hadn't seen in a minute, but in Chiraq, your past is a shadow that never stops chasing you. While the views were climbing, the war was still calling. The target was Beans from the Wugga. Now, Beans wasn't no bystander. He was a certified heavyweight. Back in 15, he was already trading lead with the 12, taking shots and bouncing back from the system. He was a 079 nightmare, allegedly involved in missions that hit deep in FaceWorld's lineage. The end came on the 57. Beans was cruising near Halstead when a whip pulled up alongside him. It wasn't a street corner hit, it was a highway execution. That pipe with switch on blew through the glass and Beans caught a cluster of lead. He lost control, slamming into a light pole at high speed. He was rushed to Christ Medical Center, but the Reaper had already clocked him in. He was gone at 24. The feds put the puzzle together later. In the paperwork, they pinned Tay-Tay as the shooter and Douwey as the pilot. By the fall of 2021, Douwey wasn't just active on his own block, he was playing chess with the whole map. Word on the town was Douwey started dropping locations, handing out pocket town coordinates to the no limits. He was moving like a scout, and Lil Don from the pocket didn't take that lightly. The tension got so thick they were both actively hunting, looking for that one clean window. In late October, the hunt turned into a hit. Douwey allegedly caught Lil Don and let about 20 shells fly. Don was lucky. He only caught 2 heaters to the shoulder from a .223. That's rifle lead. That's meant to sit you down for good. Don hopped on the gram later, showing the damage and confirming the caliber. In his track, Certified, Lil Don made sure to mention the situation, talking about how the man who tried to put him out is already gone. When Douwey got backdoored a month later, Lil Don didn't hold back. He flooded the stories with mockery, exposing how Douwey was really out here coaching the ops and dropping pins for NLMB. Douwey was a certified menace who put in so much work the streets couldn't even keep track. Everyone knew the Reaper was coming for him eventually. They just didn't expect it to come from the same car he was riding in. November 2021. Douwey was at the height of his power, but he started moving with the snakes. He linked up with Lil Fatz and Lil Twan from 800, sets known for being greasier than a deep fryer. His crew had told him. Even on the IG lives, the comments were flooded. Don't trust them, they're gonna backdoor you. But Douwey didn't listen. Because Lil Fatz was his own cousin, he thought blood was thicker than the game. He didn't know he was walking into his own funeral.
Pop out for him, finna put some clothes on. You see, I'm still in the crib, but I came in late as hell.
They talking about 800-079, man. This is my cousin, man. Chill out, man. They be so crazy.
They ass be funny as hell, man.
They be so crazy.
Hey, you coming though, man? So you out here?
Yeah, I'm out here, man. I'm getting out this little cocktail right now, man.
You know I'm finna pop out though, for I ain't gonna front the move. It's hard to see that, like how I feel out there.
It feel good. I just told you I'm out here shorts on, man. Stop playing. You know, I got this though.
I was just finna ask you, where you want your mask at, man?
You know I got this though.
Yeah, That's funny as hell. No cap.
And I got a hoodie in the crib though too, gang. You already know that.
Man, I just need my mans though. I ain't know it was that hot out there, gang.
You know I got all. You know I got all these tattoos and shit.
Oh yeah, man. You trying to bend?
Yeah, man. We anywhere we go. We doing y'all shit.
Alright, bet. I'm finna hit you, man. On Jizzle.
Alright, bet. Hit the line, gang.
Alright, bet. I'm trying to see how the fuck I get out this bitch.
I'm finna remove you, bitch.
I didn't know how.
November 11th. It started like a Hollywood heist. Douwey and his homie Spook from the 9 scooped a Lincoln at gunpoint, then linked with Fatz and Twan from 800 to hit an armored truck at the Bank of America on 83rd. It was a total crash out. They came out with long rifles and handguns, letting the lead fly on the guards. They took the life of LaShonda Hartz, a 47-year-old mother just doing her job. But the mission was a mess. They didn't even get the cash. High on adrenaline and desperate, they doubled back and hit a Boost Mobile for some phones and pocket change. But the energy in the car had shifted. Greed and paranoia started filling the cabin. Around 11:30 a.m. on 87th and Saginaw, the back door swung wide open. Fatz and Twan, Douwey's own blood, turned their pipes on their own crew. They executed Spook and Douwey right there in the seats. Douwey caught one to the neck. Spook was hit 7 times. Fatz and Twan hopped out, ran into a crib and tried to hide the tools, even telling a witness to call 911 on the bodies outside, like they weren't the ones who let it lead. 12 moved in fast. They found the phones, the rifles, and the shell casings that matched the bank hit. Fatz and Twan were cuffed and hit with a Hollywood-sized indictment. Douwey's run was over. The man who literally torched Wugga World until they had no breath left. Wugga World celebrated like they won the lottery because Douwey was the one nightmare they couldn't wake up from. Rest in peace, Douwey4. Him and Nuski was the biggest loss the 079 ever felt. This story was a total crash out. No regard for the code, just senseless lead flying at crowds and innocent mothers. A permanent stain on the legacy. The wildest part, the bloodline. Lil Mister, Douwey, and 800 Fatz all tied to the same tree, but ended up knocking off each other. It's a tragedy when the back door is opened by your own blood. R.I.P. to the bystanders and everyone that passed in this video. Keep your head on the swivel and stay dangerous.